Little Nemo is something that I've looked at a lot. I've hesitated to actually read it because I couldn't even get past the artwork, to be honest. I love looking at what Winsor McCay did on those pages to the point where I didn't think that the story even mattered. So forgive me for not having read a lot of Little Nemo, which is why I don't really know a lot of the characters. They're all familiar to me, but I wouldn't be the guy you tap to write these characters anyway. I feel it's such a personal work, but a lot of my heroes in terms of cartoonists are the ones that kind of still resonate today. In fact, I think that Little Nemo is still ahead of its time, even though it was made in the early 1900s. I've said that about for Howard Chaykin's American Flag. I still think it's ahead of its time to this day. And a lot of my favorite artists like Jack Kirby, I feel the same way about. So with Winsor McCay, I'm just like gobsmacked by the way he arranged a page, how he laid out the surrealism and the dreams and all the different things that happened on a page. I love his use of animals, balloons, you know, the elements. I would like to read it because I wonder if the story matches the artwork. I don't know. But yeah, he's an endless well of inspiration just to look at. I do think it absolutely influenced my contribution to the Dream Another Dream anthology because I had to think about how to interpret that and how to put that into my work. So when I elected to do, or when I was asked to do one, and then I did my first version, because I've done two. The first one, here's a little sneak peek, was a Billy Dogma story I did, where I designed around the page, and then I had him kind of fall out, Billy Dogma, out of the famous little bed scene, which I don't know if you can see. I know I'm changing this up, but I did get a little bit of a Little Nemo aspect into the drawing, but ultimately it was rejected because it didn't really fit the format well enough. So I thought I was out of the game. I thought it was done, goodbye, and you know, these editors on the anthology are finicky. So, and I respect that. But they came back, they asked me again, I said I don't have any ideas. Meanwhile, I was at a bookstore with Art Spiegelman and some of these guys, and I was like, you should get Art Spiegelman to do one. And so while they were talking to him, I kind of had an idea. I said to Art, I said, why don't you do one where it's a mashup of Winsor McCay and George Harriman's Crazy Cat, you know, Little Nemo and Crazy Cat. And Art said to me, why don't you do that? And I said, because I can't do that. That's not my wheelhouse. I don't have the powers to do that. So he thought it was a good idea. He tasked me to do it. I thought about it for a while. I was like, there's no way I can't come up with anything. Finally, I was getting pressured to do my second one, which would be my first one in the publication. And I was encouraged to do what you do, Dean. And I'm like, what is it that I do? So I know it's a combination of autobio, really heartfelt stuff, and superheroes. So what I came up with was basically an idea that Little Nemo never got out of bed. He grew into an old man and he never did anything with his life. He never took a risk. It was always in his mind. It was always in his dreams. But his real self never got out there, never left the bed. And you know, he never knew love. He never knew adventure. So I decided, why don't I tell the story about this guy who's grown into an old man, kind of like a Will Eisner character, and what happens the day he gets out of bed, and what that's about. And it really appealed to me, that kind of telling that story. And here's the original art, which you'll read in the book, fully colored and everything. In fact, I did work in a George Harriman thing that deals with dreams. And we have this character, and it's a color-coded story, which you can't see in the black and white art, which kind of tells different aspects of how to look at the story. And I even snuck in a little superhero stuff. And I don't want to give too much away, but basically it's kind of a love story, which is my favorite kind of comic book. I think the Dream Another Dream anthology is, from what I've seen of it, is phenomenal. I'm jealous and I'm in it. I can't believe what these guys are doing at Locust Moon with this project. It's incredible. I think a lot of people are going to be really surprised, and it probably will be one of the best anthologies of the decade.